Welcome to Tourism Talk. I'm Laura Oswald, Director of Marketing at the Paducah Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our work at the Visitors Bureau in tourism is all about storytelling, and we want you to join us in telling Paducah's story and your own stories. So we have a very exciting opportunity coming up as KET Kentucky Collectibles comes to Paducah this June to film their 6th season. Today, we have Erin Lowry, the series producer, here with us to share a bit more about this exciting opportunity. Thanks for joining us, Erin.
Thanks so much, Laura. We're so excited to be here. We're so excited to be coming to Paducah on June 23rd and 24th to the Paducah McCracken County Convention and Expo Center. As we've been talking about, this is something that's been in the work for several years. KET is just dedicated to serving the viewers of Western Kentucky and Paducah. Paducah has been dedicated to Kentucky Collectibles. I mean, they call me, they call our viewer reaction line. They love the show, and this is just an honor. And this is something we're so excited to finally had the chance to bring the show to this wonderful city. A couple years ago, we featured in one of the feature segments, we featured some of the beautiful antique shops in downtown, and that's when the talk started happening that we needed to get down here, and I'm just so thrilled that we finally had the opportunity to do so.
We are too. We're so happy you're here. And for our viewers that don't know the show yet, give us a little bit of background on KET, Kentucky Collectibles, and your role with the series.
Okay. KET, Kentucky Educational Television, is one of the largest PBS stations in the country. And it is our job to tell Kentucky stories, and we do so on Kentucky Collectibles through the treasures of our guests. And this show in particular was started in 2012. And it is, if you are a PBS lover, if you are a KET fan, then you've seen the show Antiques Roadshow. And so that's kind of where the idea came from. At KET and throughout the system, it was decided that we should do some of our, a local version of Antiques Roadshow, so to speak. KET was one of the first to do that. We actually had heard of a station in Maryland who did their show called Chesapeake Collectibles, and I worked with some of the producers there, and they gave me some great tips and great ideas, but we still had to make it our own and make it work for Kentucky. And it has since gone on, and other stations throughout the United States have done the same thing in Arizona and Colorado. But so in 2012, I was asked to do that for KET by management, and we started out in Lexington, and by having an appraisal fair over a 2-day period of time, over a weekend, and just ask guests to bring in their family heirlooms, collections, collectibles, antiques, whatever they could find in their basement or in their attic, whatever they wanted. And we can talk a little bit more about what those things we want people to bring in Paducah a little bit later, but that's how we got started, and we had a great success that first season. So that's a little bit about the history of Kentucky Collectibles. From the first 2 seasons of Kentucky Collectibles in Lexington, we decided to take it on the road and go to Louisville at the Fraser History Museum. That was a great success as well, and it started to grow. Last year we were in Cincinnati, or Covington, in the Covington, Kentucky area, northern Kentucky area, and then this year we decided obviously to come to Paducah.
It's wonderful. We're glad that the road has led you here.
Yes.
5 seasons down, and this will be filming for the 6th season.
Mm-hmm.
I have your recent e-newsletter about the appraisal fair here, and it says part treasure hunt, part reality TV, part Kentucky history show. It's one of the most watched local programs on KET. And you mentioned a little bit about bringing it to Paducah, and we want our viewers to be part of that. How can viewers be part of this experience?
Well, there's several ways. Obviously, we have 2 opportunities. The first is on Friday afternoon, June 23rd, from 1 to 4 p.m. That through a $60 donation to KET, you're going to become a member of KET and receive those membership benefits. You will get 2 appraisals from one of our expert appraisers. You will become a member, like I said, and you'll receive Visions magazine in the mail. You'll receive KET passport. Your children will become members of the KET Family Fun Club. So you'll get those benefits of membership, and then you'll also be invited to a special reception after you receive your appraisal on Friday afternoon to be with our appraisers and kind of enjoy the whole experience. So it's kind of a special VIP afternoon to get the full Kentucky Collectibles experience. One thing I'll always remind our guests is that not only are you getting an appraisal, you're also experiencing a television production. You're seeing the behind the scenes of what goes on when we shoot a large television production, what the cameras look like, what talent goes through, what producers are doing behind the scenes, what I'm running around telling our camera operators and our audio technicians to do. So it really is a fun experience, and if you want to just come hang out and watch that, you can get a ticket to do that as well. So that's on Friday afternoon. On Saturday afternoon, for just a $25 ticket, you can get 2 appraisals. And that's just two items. You would just bring that in and have that appraised from one of our appraisers. I want to encourage you to think about what you want to bring in. That could be estate jewelry, that could be furniture, firearms, vintage instruments, books, you name it. Collections, we were talking beforehand, toys, old toys. We've had people that brought in old Disney collections. There's things that you just don't even think about that could be of value now. We've had old Barbies, things like that. But it's just shocking every year the amount of treasures that are brought in that we find out such wonderful things and the stories behind them.
And some of those things, you may have held onto that estate jewelry or something, knowing that it has great value, but there may be things you have that you have no idea what it's worth.
Right.
And I love that you all say, what will your reaction be when you find out what the story is behind your artifact?
And we have had such great reaction, from tears to just jumping up and down in excitement to, and most of the reactions are, well, I would never sell this. They're just so priceless, so they would never even dream. But it's just the curiosity of just wanting to know, well, what would it be worth? Or just to have it insured, to make sure that it's protected. That's always something very important to know.
Absolutely. I guess just to get people thinking, what are some of the most memorable artifacts you've had over the years?
Oh, we've had so many. From the first season, there was a man that brought in a beautiful piece of pottery, and it's a pottery that I have just been fascinated by ever since. It was from a woman's college in Louisiana. It's Newcomb College. He had no idea, it was just a piece of pottery that a neighbor had given him, and ended up being worth $10,000. So, and his reaction was priceless. He actually teared up. That was one of my favorites. Then we had actually a local woman here from Paducah, Beverly McKinley, who brought in some beautiful jewelry from Nardi jewelry from Italy. And I won't tell the value on that because it was just amazing, but she had no idea. But it was precious to her because it was given to her by her aunt. That those kind of reactions and hearing the story about how she got it when she was a teenager and those kind of priceless stories, that's what we're trying to get. That's what we want to hear about through Kentucky Collectibles.
Yeah, so we hope that our viewers will all be thinking what they can bring on June 23rd and 24th. Where can people go to get registered? Right now, I think the quickest way and the easiest way, if everyone has access to a computer, is to go to ket.org/collectibles, and that'll take you right online, and you can buy your tickets there. You can choose which day you want to come. Or you can call 1-800-866-0366, and you can talk to one of our development officers on the phone, and they'll take care of you in just 5 minutes. Perfect. So that's the way to do it. You should be seeing promotions on KET. You'll see Dave Shuffett, who's the host this year, season 6. Yes. He's joining us once again. He was on the first few seasons and retired from KET, and now he's joining us again, and we're thrilled to have him. And he will be here in Paducah. And he's very excited about that. So you'll be seeing some of that, that he's promoting the show again, and
we're thrilled to have him back.
Wonderful. So be sure to go get signed up. What is it that sets Kentucky Collectibles apart? The appraisers are expert, and you have a great team. Tell us a little bit about them and how they make the experience what it is.
Well, I think our appraisers, we picked them out when we first started, and just they are volunteers. They are volunteers because they love what they do. They love this industry, and they love KET and PBS. And I think that shows. And they come back year after year because they have been impressed. They have been impressed by what the guests bring every year, the stories that they're telling, and they are excited. I mean, I've had texts and emails today just excited about coming to Paducah, that they have local friends in the area that they're excited to bring back. And so I think that's what sets us apart, is that there is something about Kentucky. There's something about Paducah that makes people want to come back and to share in the heritage here. The other thing that I think that is, obviously Antiques Roadshow has been so popular and for, over 20 years now. The one thing that you're going to get from Kentucky Collectibles is a little more time, I think, and a little more experience, because we don't have thousands of people coming through. So our expert appraisers are able to give you more time with your items to really go deep and look into the provenance and look into the value and its rarity. And if it's something that's just completely stumps them, which that happens sometimes, they will pass it down to their friends. And that's what I like about the local appraisers. They've worked together for 20, 30 years, and they're all friends, and they will say, well, I might not know about this particular piece of folk art, but let me take you to my friend down here. And they will work together. And I watch them work as a team every year, and they will never allow a guest to leave without some answers. Yeah. And we'll follow up beyond the appraisal fair. And so that's really what I think sets Kentucky Collectibles apart from other appraisal fairs. Yeah, and then the other thing too is the average appraisal is about $300. So it really is a good choice and a good deal.
It is. It is $25 for two. That's amazing. Or $60 for two.
Right.
So who should attend? I think earlier you said most anyone can really find value in this.
I think when you hear the word antiques, maybe you're thinking maybe an older generation, but I have found even the younger crowd can find something that they are going to enjoy at Kentucky Collectibles. The thrill of discovery is for everyone, and I don't think you're ever too young for that or old for that. So anyone can enjoy that experience. And like I said before, you're going to get so much more than just appraisal fair from Kentucky Collectibles. You're going to get a chance to be with the community. You're going to get a chance to experience the television production, and you're going to get a chance to learn a little bit more about the world of antiques and collectibles.
Wonderful. And though the show is called Kentucky Collectibles, not everything has to be from Kentucky.
Right, that is such a good point. I think the name kind of maybe a little misleading, but oh wow, we've had art from all over the world. We've had artifacts from all over the country, and so don't be misled by the title. And if you have something that was passed down, you have family members from all over the country, or you have something that you picked up in France when you were on your honeymoon, bring it in. We had these, not all of our appraisers are from Kentucky, and obviously they have been trained worldwide, so they are prepared for this.
Wonderful. We're so happy to have this in Paducah. As you mentioned, Kentucky is a very special state.
Yes.
People, we always tell the story that Kentucky was the 15th state. As people headed west, they were passing through or settling either through the Cumberland Gap or down the river through Paducah. So we think there's a ton of history and heritage here locally, and we know that we have a lot of people that appreciate this. So we hope we'll have a great turnout. There are some special items, some specific items that you're looking to see here in Paducah.
Right. Well, obviously Paducah is rich with art, and so I hope to see a lot of art that will come through. We have several appraisers that are expert in that field, so I hope to see that. And then also quilts. I mean, the International Quilt Museum is here, and so we expect to see quilts that will come through. So if you have a quilt in your home, we hope to see that to tell that story through the quilts.
Wonderful. Well, we hope to see that as well. Yes. From the production over the years, what are some of your most memorable moments? What are, producing this for 5 seasons now, going into your 6th, being at all of those different locations across the state, what is most memorable or stands out to you?
One of them, there's a lot, of course, but last year we had, obviously there's the items that have the big wow moments, that, an item that is just shocking in terms of value, but really it's the stories that have the most touching family moments. And last year we had a gentleman that brought in a letter from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that was sent to his father during the March on Selma. And so there's not a price tag that can ever be placed on that. So to see that moment that he got to have that read on television and tell his story through his father, who is now, it was just really just a touching moment to see. So there's always that mix of the big wow moments, and then those historical moments that need to be preserved and celebrated on television. So.
I love it. Any other stories like that? I think that's such a great story to bring Kentucky's connection.
That was because this was a gentleman from northern Kentucky. Another one, I guess, last year was, and that was the most recent, so that's why it's on my mind. I guess, I'm thinking of, there was the first edition Huck Finn book, and even the appraiser. I think that was probably one of my favorite moments, was just the excitement that he had. He said that even 5 minutes before this gentleman had brought in with this book, he said, if I saw a first edition Huck Finn book, I would just, I couldn't believe it. And then in walked in the book. Wow. So it was just that moment, even for excitement for the appraiser. That was pretty amazing.
And the cameras are there to catch it all.
Right.
Yeah. So how is the appraisal fair set up for the television and filming?
Okay, sure. What we kind of have a holding area for guests when they come in to sit down. A lot of times guests bring in large items. They're heavy, so they'll have a place to sit and relax. We have a television set up so they can see what's happening on the main set. When the time comes, we will ask the guests to come into the main area where our set is, and we have our appraisers setting behind the set, divided into categories based on the items that our guests bring in. So if you brought in a book, you will go to our appraisers that are ready to take your item with the book, or if it's a firearm, whatever category of items you brought in, you will go to that appraiser. And if they do the appraisal, and if it's something that maybe doesn't warrant a television interview, then you have an option to either go ahead and leave, or you can stay and chat with the host. Or if it's something that does warrant a television interview, then we'll ask you if that's something that you want to do, go through makeup, and then go to the main set. And that's kind of how the process works.
Awesome. We can't wait to see what people bring. This is so exciting. And you did mention that there's a new host this year. Dave Shefford is back.
Yeah, Dave Shefford is back. Amy Hess has done it for many years, and she's taken, she has a vacation, taking a little break this year. But Dave Shefford is back, and he is obviously loved by so many, and we're so glad to have him back. And so he'll be talking to a lot of guests and just finding out what they've brought in and a little bit about their history. And I actually talked to him yesterday, and he said that's what he was so excited about. He just loves hearing kind of the behind the story about how they got these items and their family stories.
Absolutely. I think that's what we're all so excited about. I had a great quote here from Richard Taylor, the former Kentucky Poet Laureate. He said, "I was so happy to see Kentucky Collectibles come along as a local version of Antiques Roadshow. It has localized that program, localized history, and made it accessible to everyone." And I think that's sort of what you're talking about there, that it is accessible. This history, we're all connected to it, and this highlights those connections. We love that.
Absolutely. And I will say I've learned so much through this show. I don't know that I was a huge antiques collectible fan before, but the history that I have learned through that, just through one item, it just causes you to delve into it more, and then just by looking at one item causes you to just dig deeper and deeper, and what you learn through that one item is fascinating.
Absolutely.
So it is a history lesson, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons that KET and Kentucky Collectibles have made this deep connection with Paducah for the appraisal fair was the antique shops feature on the show a couple years back. Mm-hmm. There are those great features and other tie-ins.
Sure.
What types of other things are on the show for viewers that aren't as familiar?
Well, we shoot the appraisal fair over the 2-day period, which we'll do on June 23rd and 24th. In addition to that, over that weekend, we will have the interviews with Dave and some of the people that maybe that don't make it onto the main set. We will also have feature pieces, and we travel throughout the state featuring antique shops like we did in Paducah. Mm-hmm. We've done interviews with people who have fascinating collections, museums. A lot of times we will just go to our antique appraisers and kind of get their tips on what's happening in the industry, what's hot, how to care for some of your silver. We've done things like that, just different little segments on what's going on in the industry. So that's another way that some of the things that you'll find in an episode of Kentucky Collectibles.
Awesome. And you can watch all of those online.
They're all there. Mm-hmm.
Where would you find those?
If you go to KET.org, there's a video link, watch past programs, and you can click on the Kentucky Collectibles link.
Great. So when we talk about this 6th season being filmed here, how many episodes will that be? When will they air?
Yeah, they will start at the end of October. Typically, they're around 13 episodes. That's the goal. It just depends on how many people we get to come out to Paducah. So we need the more we can get out there, the better. The more people we have, the more episodes we have. So we hope to see a huge crowd.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited for this opportunity, and do hope that our viewers will get online and get registered and think about what artifacts they have that they can add to Paducah and Kentucky's story through this show. I know that it sounds like such a special experience. I've watched the show before, but I think to be part of it is just an unforgettable experience.
Yes,
so I hope that our locals will get out and people throughout the region, not just, like we said, it doesn't have to be Kentucky Collectibles.
Right.
So we hope that everyone will come join us at the Convention Center on June 23rd and 24th.
Right.
Refresh for everyone, just kind of an overview once more about where to register, what artifacts are welcome.
Okay. Go online to ket.org/collectibles or call 1-800-866-0366. June 23rd, it's a $60 donation. That's from 1 to 4 with a reception from 4 to 5, or June 24th for $25 to appraisals.
Great. Great. I guess before we leave our viewers today, what do you look forward to most about this Paducah Appraisal Fair?
I think that I look forward to, I'm just so thankful to be in Paducah. I think that we want to make sure, KET wants to make sure that the Western Kentucky and Paducah audience knows that we're here to serve them. And, KET is a statewide network, and we are so glad that we finally have a chance to be here and to shoot the entire series here. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some faces that we don't get to see enough. And so that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for today. We are so looking forward to the appraisal fair being here in Paducah. And we actually have a promo video to leave our viewers with today to get to know Dave Sheffett, our host, and get prepared for the appraisal fair. So thanks for joining us, Erin.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it.
And thank you all for joining us today on Tourism Talk. Be sure to get online and get registered for the Kentucky Collectibles Appraisal Fair on June 23rd and 24th. And we look forward to seeing you there and then maybe seeing you on KET. So we'll leave you now with the promo video and host Dave Sheffett. Thanks for joining us.
The Kentucky Collectibles Appraisal Fair is headed to Paducah. Climb up to your attic or dig around the basement for that special treasure and find out what it's worth. With your gift of $60, get 2 items appraised, membership to KET, and an invitation to a special reception with our expert appraisers on Friday, June 23rd. Or for $25, get 2 items appraised on Saturday, June 24th. Plus, you and your treasure may be featured on the next season of Kentucky Collectibles coming to KET this fall. Don't miss the discovery and fun at the Kentucky Collectibles Appraisal Fair at the Paducah McCracken County Convention and Expo Center on June 23rd and 24th. Call 1-800-866-0366 or go online at ket.org/collectibles for ticket information, and I'll see you there.
1, 2, 1, 2, go. Hello, ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Hello, ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.